I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
Okay, so I'm just browsing through my collectibles. You got a rare eyeglass case, a mug, a rare. You don't see them with the mustache very often. And oh, we have Spencer and Brian. What a rare combo.
Also,
hey dudes.
Also,
hello.
Yeah, Brian, thank you so much for joining us today.
As always, it's great. Thanks for having me. It just seems like yesterday I was talking Kirby with you, so thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Check it out in the previous episodes. Speaking of the term rare, we also don't have Alex today. Real life has gotten in the way, but we've replaced him with Brian.
So he wanted us to drop a donkey for him. Donkey. So, Brian, can you do the honors?
Donkey! How's that? Donkey!
I thought Alex jumped onto your microphone for a second. It was so accurate.
Thank you. Since I've never seen Shrek, that's gone off by Alex.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone. Stop the presses. Whatever that sound effect is. You haven't seen Shrek?
No, I have never seen Shrek. Yeah. And all that Alex talks about, it makes me want to see it more.
Oh.
It's not that I have anything against Shrek, it's just I haven't had that rare occurrence to watch it,
I love that you tied it back into rare.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that day, Brian, but it is a day for rare games, Rareware, by a company that we love and Alex loves. He loves the Banjo-Kazooie. Map that out, check it out. And, some other rare breed of viewers may go the distance. Where might they go, Spencer?
Oh shoot, you're sending me to the Alex job. They can go to Spotify. They can go to Apple Podcasts, and they can join us on our Discord, where we'll probably be talking about Rare all month.
And one thing you can do to make us less rare is hit the like button and subscribe for some rare quality content. So check out Brian.
Which is not rare on the Button Mappers.
It's Brian, 1 second.
Hello. So yes, check out the Button Mappers for more rare content for the month, which will be good and not rare.
Brian has a not so rare live streams. He does it almost every day.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. And it's not an unlikely rare occurrence that Teddy stops by or Spencer stops by to say hi and chat a little bit. And it's also I hope this isn't a rare occurrence that I'm invited back on.
But it is a rare occurrence that you play Pokemon. You've still yet to play it, am I correct?
That is true. I have not played Pokemon yet. I have not. I feel kind of bad about it at this point. I feel kind of sad even saying I haven't.
There's only one way to solve it.
Have very rare NES games.
I have a rare NES game. Not that kind of rare, but a rare NES game.
Both?
No, just one of... I'll let you decide which one of the rare meaning it is. Or both. It could be two, but I think it's only one. It's definitely one.
Well, I certainly hope so. Because that is the point of this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the company Rare.
Okay. I hope you wear it.
It's Rareware.
Rare it.
Yeah, when did they go to the...
Rare it.
They were so I never I never knew them as Rareware. They was always Rare. Did they go to Rareware at a certain point in their development history?
You may find that out soon on a future episode. Just say it. I don't have the
Oh,
answer.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Very excited. And exciting. And as we mentioned, this is Rareware month, so we'll be doing some Rareware game talk. We'll be wearing some Rareware, and also a Rareware map out. So all the questions for this episode were themed around Rareware. Next month is my month, Eddie month.
Oh,
Make all questions relevant to me, majority. And I will say that the title of Question Master may come back. So, EG, I hope you can use it while you got it. Cool. Let's start with a question. And I like filtering them by the date. And the earliest one comes from Terry, 09. If Rare made an RPG crossover cast, who would be the main 4 characters in the party? Ryan, do the honors.
Rare characters in the party. I think you got to have Kuros from Wizards and Warriors. You have to have the banjo has to be in there, of course.
Original Rare RPG.
Yeah. Say the car from RC Pro-Am. Maybe they all drive around in that. They shrink down somehow. Maybe it's a large version of the car. And then the battle system is turn-based, of course. Kazui's also with banjo.
Only 4, so no more.
No more? Is that 4?
5.
Okay, so that's 4. Kazooie, banjo, Kuros, and the car. Did I do 5? Banjo, Kuros, the car, and the
Throw them
snake.
all in the car.
The snake, yeah, they can all fit in the car. It's like a clown car. They can all fit in there. So it's like a wishing for more wishes thing. I say the car, and then they can all pile in.
Okay. I'm gonna pick James Bond as sharpshooter. I'll pick Cameo as Blanchnecht.
Oh, dang.
Pick a Battletoad as support staff. And I think the Conquer Scarecrow as healer.
I was not expecting the Conquer Scarecrow. Good job on that.
Yeah. Sir,
I won't go as far as you as naming Etrian Odyssey classes, but I will go where it's like it's very selected for Rare because I don't have as big of a library knowledge of Rare. Hopefully that will change after this month. But I would keep it in the same realm of possibility. So I'm going to do mostly Banjo-Kazooie. So it'll be Banjo, Kazooie. I'm going to add Conquer to it.
Okay.
And then as a wild card, which would be part of the RPG part where you can add a fun story to it, I'm going to add Grunty as the spellcaster.
Oh, man, Grunty joining sides. I like that. That's nice.
Grunty's inside story.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a very funny game. That sounds like a lot of fun.
If you made Banjo with cars, never mind.
Think you're onto something there.
Who knows? One day. Speaking of Banjo with cars, we have Turbo Zone.
Turbo.
If you could give Rare one series from another company, what series would you give them? Can't be Donkey Kong, Mickey Mouse, or Star Fox, since they've done those before. That's a good point. I tend to forget, Rareware was Donkey Kong Country. I always go, Nintendo in my mind for some reason.
Yeah.
They also made Donkey Kong 64. Interesting. And when are you going to stream Donkey Kong 64? Never mind. Don't let me derail.
Oh, no. Yeah, don't derail.
Yeah. Give Rare a series from another company. Well, what is Rare like doing lately?
Yeah.
They got Sea of Thieves they've been doing updates for, and that new game that's coming out. I forget what it's called. Something Ocean Open. It's like open.
Star Ocean?
No, it's some kind of open world kind of game they got. Maybe not open world. They announced it maybe 2 years ago. Forget what it's called though. Maybe somebody can.
I'm looking it up.
Is it
Oh, they made the Battletoads revival? Is that right?
Everwild?
No, that was somebody else that did the Battletoads. Everwild. That's it, Spencer. You got it. You win the
Okay.
prize.
So, should we give them Breath of the Wild?
I don't. It's not Breath. Not like I don't think it's like Breath of the Wild. Everwild is like new adventure from Sea of Thieves developers. So the guys who did Sea of Thieves at Rare, magical world, beautiful lush settings. So I guess it's going to be open worldish. If I had to guess, it looks kind of like open worldish kind of adventure game.
Okay.
But that's all I know they're working on right now.
So when they asked
what
this,
would that qualify them to do? That's what I wonder.
It can't be Nintendo. Yeah, what would that?
Modern Rare isn't qualified to make anything. They've done like Sea of Thieves is an absolute disaster.
Okay, I never tried that.
It's fun for like 20 seconds. Dude, I don't know. I guess
another company.
I guess the question really boils down to what's a game series that has a lot of potential but you feel like is being mishandled that you would for some reason want to give to Rare to not mishandle it. Just seems unlikely.
See,
Huh.
I guess you could say like that a consistently revive and make accessible classics like Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie and Conquer, through things like Rare Replay. And if you said like, oh well, well we can't. I don't know about Nintendo, but like, I don't know. Let's say like there's a 3D platforming era. Maybe if they were doing Saturn games or something, like I don't know. Could be a thing. Maybe since they do like the Perfect Dark and the Golden Eye, they could do like Quake or something, or like some Saturn FPSs or something.
oh, I got it. They could. Well, they can't do Nintendo, right? It can't be Nintendo.
Wait, let me check again. It wasn't necessarily Nintendo. It's just like Donkey Kong and Star Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'd say Wario Land. They could do a Wario Land game. There hasn't been a Wario Land game since Shake It. I think they could do a good 2D Wario Land.
I think I'd give Rare Frogger.
Yeah.
See what they could come up with.
If it were like a year or a year and a half ago, I would have said Kirby. Like bring that to 3D.
Kirby?
But I think Kirby Forgotten Lands is pretty great. So I don't want them to handle it anymore. I think Frogger is a really good one because it's something that's probably never been great in 3D. I'm sure they've tried in some like PS1 title or something.
It's a PC game that's okay. There is a decent 3D Frogger. You'd be surprised.
But
yeah, give them. Yeah. Frogger would be good. I mean, they handled a giant monkey, and they had King K. Rool. They could do an amphibian.
Yeah.
Maybe bring something in there.
They love their anthropomorphic
animals.
characters.
Yeah. Frogger's good.
Pirates and Sea of Thieves. Okay. Turbo.
Thank you.
Next up is Io Phoenix. Outside of Banjo Kazooie Donkey Kong Country, do you think the track record of Rare has been very inconsistent even before the buyout from Microsoft? He has a parentheses, just a heads up, a couple LJN games on NES were made by Rare. Just so you know that whenever you do that episode.
Yeah.
To me, Rare.
I don't know.
To me, Rare was always Nintendo. That was like their big. To me, the big like Super Nintendo to the N64 era, and that era is so great for them. It's like nothing but bangers, And then after that and before it, I mean, I just played a Rare game for this episode and it wasn't very good, but it is a licensed game, so whatever. But when they were given, their reign to go for the Super Nintendo and N64, incredibly consistent, and everything outside of that has been less than that.
I think browsing through the Rare Replay collection has kind of opened my mind to some more of Rare's history. I think that the old school Rare, like in the arcade days, is actually pretty decent. Like, kind of like Jetpack. Good game. There's like a, I don't know exactly what it's called. It's like RC Pro Am or something. Like, or some kind of racing game is fun.
Yeah, that game's great.
Didn't like one with Saberman. I wasn't really into that. I still haven't tried Battletoads. I would like to. I just always know about his hard reputation, so I don't know if I'll play it. I agree. I think that the 64 is kind of like the charm era, and that's always what I'll associate Rare with, like with my nostalgia days. I think that like the 360 era is when the consistency dropped. Jetpack Refuel, it's like not that great. Cameo Elements of Power, while it's a decent playable game, it's really not a standout great game. So they fell off a bit, I'd say, after that. I still got love for them though, but I'm still waiting for like the Rare revival. It's kind of sad that like that I feel like they're the big face of Xbox Series S, and they actually maybe aren't that impressive. Brian?
Yeah, I'm looking at this list. Like I played a lot of Rare games on the NES. Like BioPhoenix said, a lot of them LJM published them. But I've probably played more stuff of theirs on the NES than I realized. But I do think Donkey Kong Country and those games are probably up there with their high point for me. But I think the best Rare game out of that they made was probably the first Banjo-Kazooie for me. So I kind of agree with Alex, but I kind of want to say the Donkey Kong Country games are what really made Nintendo say, hey, these guys, they basically gave them the keys to the Donkey Kong Kingdom and said, run with it and see what you can do. And they kind of made a game a year till 95, 96, something like that. And then the buyout happened around 2001 or so. I don't think they're still bad. I think they still have potential. I just think they're putting their potential into service games like Sea of Thieves, and we'll see how Everwild turns out. I know the DK Vine people really like what Rare's doing. They consider this. It's funny how you said it was like they consider this like the Rare Renaissance, the first Rare Renaissance they call it. Like they think they're really coming back to their own.
Wait, who thinks
thing. That? The DK Vine community, the Donkey Kong universe community.
People who make Donkey Kong clips on Vine?
His Vine's gone now, isn't it? Yeah.
TikTok?
But TikTok,
Wait,
DK TikTok.
Somebody thinks that there's a Rare Renaissance going on?
Yeah, there's people out there that think that they really like Rare's games, and they have this whole connected universe with Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong are in the same universe, and it's all Rare developed. So there are people out there that really, just saying, I might not agree with that, but there are people out there that really like what Rare's doing and see them very coming up with some good stuff in the future. I'm not saying I agree with it, but there's people out there that really like what they're doing.
So the only thing that they really made, they made a Battletoads game, whatever.
Well, that was not made by them. That was made by the Delilah Studios.
Oh, okay.
It does say they assisted in development, though.
Yeah, that was
I
Delilah.
take that as you will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the only thing they've really made is Sea of Thieves. Like really, made.
Mm-hmm. Sea of Thieves, and there are people out there that really like Sea of Thieves. I'm with you, Spencer. I think that they should go to more other things, like maybe a new Banjo game. But
I think they had announced that a new Perfect Dark was coming out like 5 years ago or 4 years ago or something. And
I didn't hear about that.
Nothing. and now Everwild is here. But
Yeah,
that was
that's
in
in
like a couple
development.
years ago.
Yeah, who knows when that's coming out? It's in development, but there are people out there that like Rare a lot. Still, I'm not. I don't hate them. I just think they haven't produced anything I don't really like or have an interest in since probably DK64. But that's not to say they're bad. They're just not. I don't. I played most of their stuff, a lot of their stuff on Nintendo, the Super Nintendo Donkey Kong games. I played not when it came out, but recently within the past 2 years, and I thought they were good still. But there are people out there that like Rare stuff. That's all I'm saying. So we shouldn't just dismiss Rare as being totally bad.
Yeah, not totally bad. Totally good. Axel. Oh. If Rare was given another chance to make an FPS using a movie license, what movie would you like it to be? Why? And at the end, why? But
Mission Impossible? I guess. Why?
Comelon?
What Coco Melon? Is that what you said?
I mean, Austin. Mission Impossible would be good, yeah. I'm going to say Austin Powers.
Austin Powers.
Because they're English. They could bring some of that English humor. They're known for their English humor in their games. They could do a good Austin Powers spy game.
Always going to be a question here of like, are we talking 90s Rare or like 2000s, 20s Rare? Like it's
Yeah,
and
they're
I
very
think it's
different
okay
companies.
to answer either way. You know, like because I do think that like 90s Rare, hell yeah, give them a British movie. Or Monty Python or something, right? Like I don't know. But
Yeah, I just
then
think
again, like is Banjo Kazooie like a British game? Like I don't.
it
know.
is kind of. There's a lot of. I think if maybe I'm remembering incorrectly. There's a lot of British sayings in the rhymes and stuff. I think that kind of flew over our head. I think.
Well, it is super dry. Like the humor
I
is
mean,
super dry.
Grab by the Ghoulies is like kind of a British kind of game. I think like Grab by the Ghoulies isn't
I
Ghoulies a
guess,
British name?
but the source material is not like British people. I mean, GoldenEye,
Right.
I guess you could say Bond is set in UK or whatever, but that's I don't know. I guess maybe I'll take the point there,
Mhm.
but Pokemon's a joke. It's obviously a TV show, so we're going Boss Baby. One Boss Baby.
Well, boss baby. I think they could do Mission Impossible because in those movies, there's always like a diverse cast of people that have to get the job done. That they all have like their own skill, and it just kind of reminds me of Donkey Kong 64. So basically, I'm just saying make Donkey Kong 64 but with people.
Hopefully, like collect different stuff with a different character. Like you have to collect it with Tom Cruise and then that Superman guy actor, and then the two guys from what's the thank you, those guys are characters.
Simon Pegg.
Yes, and Nick Frost. Got it. Thank you. Yeah.
Last up, we have Maltamaster, who is playing with the rules and asks 2 questions, even though he's not the question master. He says, I may not be the question master, but I am the Maltamaster. So,
Good point.
just ask the first one that he has. Why is GoldenEye the best shooter of its time? I think we have to just address, is GoldenEye the best shooter of its time?
I would say yes.
When did it come out? 97? 96?
Yeah, the N64 PS1 era, I guess you could say.
I'm saying yes.
Are we talking just consoles or PC? Because there's a lot of stuff on PCs that I didn't play that I think are pretty good. For console, I would say probably, yeah. I mean, you had Turok, which I like as well, because it's almost Metroid Prime-y. I like that. GoldenEye is more of a straight shooter with objectives, but yeah, I mean, Doom 64 was after it, so, and I really like that. But yeah, it didn't really do a lot different. So yeah, I could see GoldenEye being probably the best console shooter at the time, if you're not going into PC stuff, for sure. Because what else did you have before GoldenEye on consoles, really? You had a port of Doom.
I would say,
Yeah.
I mean, even if you look at PC games at the time, there were good ones, and there's certainly influential ones, but I don't think any of them topped the party mentality that GoldenEye did.
Oh yeah, if you're talking multiplayer for sure, because there was not. I don't remember. Well, there was Quake. I think
Yeah.
that was like deathmatch. I don't know if Quake was. So it's 1997. Quake.
There was some like
Yeah, Quake was
military
around.
shooter online, like on the PCs that I don't remember. It wasn't Rainbow Six. It was something else. Oh, it was Counter Strike. When was that?
Counter Strike was a little later, I think.
I remember that one being a hit too.
Yeah, that
So,
was
like,
99. That was like
So
right
it's the same
after.
era. You know, you
It
could
is
say
the same
that because
era, yeah.
N64 was still 2000. I might argue that Counter Strike's better than GoldenEye.
I don't know if
Talking
it's
about that
about.
I
party
would say
mentality.
too. If we're going to put in that whole late 1990s, you had Quake, you had Unreal Tournament, you had all that landing over the online. But the online really, really helps those games a lot into. It's almost like an unfair advantage for them. You can play online against people, but I don't know. In a way, couch co-op is kind of a cool thing too. You know.
I think
So I don't.
I think James Bond was a lot more accessible to a lot of people at the time. Nowadays, it would be
Depending,
the
yeah.
opposite, but at the
Yeah,
time, I think it was bigger.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody who had a 64 played that game, liked it a lot. I mean, the controls. I don't remember ever having trouble with them, but I played it within the past year, and it was like, wow, how did I ever play this?
Yeah.
You know, because it was so weird. But I don't know. It's I think with that controller, they did the best they probably could, right? I mean, there's
Textures are fugly as all hell, though. Like,
Yeah.
try looking at Bond's face or something. You're like, and
It's
plus,
funny,
always
yeah.
pick Odd Job or Knick Knack. Those are the two. Yeah, and so it's like it's kind of cheap. There's the cheat codes, so you can make big head mode, like stuff like
Yeah.
that's funny. But I think too, like there was something fun, and I think GoldenEye as a movie was like a big commercial hit at the time. So like there was kind of that pack-in excitement, I guess.
Yeah, it came out like a year before. I think the movie came out like whole year before. So the game was like in development with the movie, and they just had to push it back.
Huh.
So it was like, yeah, it was. I remember the movie, and I liked the movie a lot. And the game, even if the movie was terrible, the game's still good enough to like stand on its own without the movie tie-in. I think. I mean, you had the different objectives. I think the objective-based system is something coming from the PC ones. There wasn't really in that era. You had basically Twitch shooters. GoldenEye had more like is plant the satellite thing, upload your data, destroy these things, escape.
Mhm.
And depending on the difficulty you had, you could have more objectives, or the enemies were harder. I like the objective mission-based thing, which I think kind of gives it an edge too.
Aren't there better games on Dreamcast though? Like, is Mach X? Like, could you argue that's better than the single-player campaign of GoldenEye?
But aren't we talking? What was Malta's
Lock
question?
X.
What was Malta's question?
Best shooter of the
Was
generation.
GoldenEye the best shooter of its era? We're paraphrasing, but
Well,
I mean,
what-
it's implied that like you would have to argue it is, but I think we have to argue whether it is first.
yeah.
If you're saying shooter, I'd say probably not. If you're saying multiplayer couch co-op, I for sure.
The question
I don't know.
is,
It's
why
hard.
was it such a raging fucking hit?
That's what I
at the
think is
time?
the real
Like,
question, right? I think
Yeah.
that's. I mean, we could
that's
argue
an
that.
obvious
yeah.
answer. There's a movie pack-in. It's the multiplayer accessible. N64 had 4 controllers, and like you said, it was accessible.
Well-
but I think there's a more interesting discussion there about whether it actually was.
There was also the fact that the N64 didn't get games so easily. We didn't have a lot of games playing N64 growing up. You had like a release every 6 months or something. So this was the game that everybody bought, and they were like, "Oh, this is really good." You had like
That's not true. There was like 200 games in 4 years.
no, but they came out slowly. Like
Every 6 months, that would be 8 games.
Yeah, but compared to the PlayStation, you only had. I'm saying the wealth of games coming out for the 64 that were not like racing or stuff was not a ton. There was like you had Mario Kart, you had Mario 64, and you had that long drought for Mario Kart, and then you had Turok.
Not true. You had 3 cruising games. You had a Lego Racers game. You had what did you have? You had F-Zero X.
Yeah, there's games. I'm just saying they were not released with such quantity as like the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation.
The Super
was.
Nintendo had less games. How many games?
I'm not talking total quantity. I'm talking the number of games released during a year. Like it was basically Nintendo and Rare, and then you had
there's like 2,000 games on Super Nintendo.
There's a lot of games,
but 717 in North America. So okay, so it's like 4 times as many.
Oh, I'm not saying they didn't have games. I'm just saying I remember when I had my Super Nintendo, there was or my N64, I only had a few games because there was nothing coming out that I could buy really that I would interest me. And GoldenEye was one I think that everybody I knew had that game because it was like, oh, this game's out and it's actually good. It's not like not putting shade on Cruising USA, but there was a lot of racers or licensed stuff,
I lied. It's actually almost 400 games on N64, so that's like half the Super Nintendo. And N64 was only active for like 4 years. It did get one like in 2002 supposedly, but
96 to 2000, around 2002 or something like that. Yeah,
Well,
I'm not crapping on the N64. I'm just saying that my whole point was like, it was a game that everybody played because your selection was small, so you picked it up and it was very good. So everybody had it, and word spread.
Well, that's some of the genius too, is that the commitment was pretty low back then, because the N64 had the 4 ports, and it was kind of built to be a multiplayer game system. So really, if you had a buddy that had it, all you had to do was bring a controller. And even if they didn't, nobody, like, you hadn't played it before, you're just like, oh, just bring your controller and try it. Like, you don't have to buy a game. Like nowadays, we're all like, secluded, and we're in our own little areas, and we have the internet, and it's just like, if you want to play it, well, I got to buy it, I guess. Back then, it was it was literally like you already have a controller, because you theoretically, if you have the console, so just unplug it and go to your friend's house and plug it back in.
And that's why I bought it, because I think a lot of kids did that. Their friend had it, and they got it. Oh, I got to get this game, Mom, give me this game. That's what I did. Like I played it at my friends. We played like sleepovers that game. Had a blast, and then I asked my parents for it. That's how I got it.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot of word of mouth spread during that time.
Different market now than it was back then, and I think GoldenEye reflects the positives of that market.
Yeah,
and going forward.
Also, exactly. And there wasn't a lot of people playing online PC games. This is like 97, so like I didn't have the internet. I know a lot of people didn't. So couch co-op was a perfectly viable place to play online games, or not play multiplayer games. And I think it just spread and got bigger and bigger.
Yep.
But
Fair enough. Speaking of bigger and bigger, we're about to get even bigger and rarer with this podcast as we talk about some Rareware games. Each picked special Rareware game to talk about for this episode of Game Talk. Ryan, would you like to go first?
Sure, I will. This is a shocker here, but I'm going to bring up an older game for the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. A game developed by Rare, published by Nintendo. Pretty late, like 1990, I think. Don't hold my pants to the fire. Is that the same, pants to the fire? Anyway, it's Snake, Rattle, and Roll. See the little snaky there on the front.
Okay.
Have any of you guys ever played this? I know it's on Rare Replay. It's the Replay collection. Speaking of Rare, have any experience with it?
Nope.
Okay,
stays in my pants.
Nice. Okay. Sorry, give me a minute here. Okay, I'm good. I'll explain I like that because I've said a pants joke, and you're the master of coming back with stuff. It's like just cyclical here. It's great. Welcome. So yeah, thank you. So basically, it's an isometric game, and I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, isometric on NES." Yes, it has bad points because of that, but it does have a shadow under your snake, so you can find a place them, so you get used to it. Your movement can be really janky at first because diagonal moves, like you have to move on diagonals basically. You play as a little snake. It's multiplayer. You can play with 2 players. I remember playing with my mom, but I mostly played it alone. The whole goal is to get to the end of the stage. There's a, in a carnival, you have that little bell you got to hit with the hammer and it dings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's basically one of those. That's your goal. So you want to eat these little, they're called nibbly pibblies, and they're little balls, and they take the form of the first stage. They have little feet and they run around, and then they have little wings, and then they get turned like little other things. Basically, they're called nibbly pibblies. They come out of these look like record phone things, the big record phonograph things. And you have to eat them, and as you eat them, your tail gets longer. And when your tail glows at the end, you're heavy enough. That's your indication. You're heavy enough to go to the end of the stage and find that little carnival weight ball ring thingy. And that's what I'm going to call it, weight ball ring thingy. And you step on it, rings the bell, opens the exit, go into the exit, and then you proceed to the next stage. And the stages are intertwined. If you look on a map, they're stacked upon each other, and you never notice that. But when you look at a map online, they're all drawn on top of each other. So it's like one huge picture. It starts out fairly easy. There's little obstacles in your way, like little giant feet that jump and stomp you. And if you get hit at any point, you lose a part of your tail. And then you're not heavy enough, so you got to go eat more nibbly pibblies. So you have to basically get to the end, and getting there is easier said than done, because around level 4, it starts to up the difficulty, and you have a lot of these complicated jumps you got to make in isometric, where you kind of have to place your shadow and jump and make huge jumps around corners and stuff. And once you get to the ice physics, they throw ice physics at you, so you're slipping and you're jumping in isometric, and then they throw ice physics with things you got to jump on, but they're sliding this way, and then you got to jump on the one that's sliding this way. So you're dealing with gravity, ice physics, and isometrics all 3 at once. I actually didn't beat this game until last year. I had it since I was a kid, and I got up to the last boss once. It's a giant foot, and I died. I've been playing it ever since, and then finally I beat it. I gotta say, it's the music in it is fabulous. It's like a shake, rattle, and roll. It's a pun on Snake, Rattle, and Roll, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and it has this Shake, Rattle, and Roll song. Very good music. It's not all covers. Very good soundtrack. Very addicting game. You wouldn't think it's very addicting, but had I not even beat this game, it's still one of my favorite NES games, even if I never beat it. Just for the, it's very addictive. I find it, just to go through the levels, listen to the music, and then just try to progress a little farther each time. I would like to try a no death sometime, which would be something that would be I can't even perceive doing it.
It'd be another Brian Swears episode.
It wouldn't be Metal Gear, that's for sure. This is a good game, but this is I really like this game a lot. Sorry, that was jokes. Don't take offense, Spencer. But I like this game a lot, and I know it's not for everybody. If you can get past the kind of the isometrics and the kind of movement kind of being kind of make you want to just because you have limited continues too. I think you have 5, and you got 3 lives, and you get, after every so many 1,000 points, you get an extra life. And there's these flashing ghost heads that snake heads that give you an extra continue. There's some little manholes that you jump on, and they spit out points with diamonds or an extra continue that's flashing. You want to pick those up. There's warps, like in Super Mario Brothers 3, where you can warp just to ahead in different levels. But you kind of don't want to do that because you miss all the extra points for extra lives and stuff. But I don't know what else to say about it. It's a game that I think a lot of people will play and say, well, this game you like so much, but it's just, maybe it's part nostalgia. It probably is a lot of nostalgia, but I think if you give it a chance, maybe, play a few levels and you'll know if it's for you or not. It'll get your hooks in it or it won't. But
I like the graphics of it. For some reason, when I think of NES, I think of I'm really thinking Atari for some reason, graphically.
okay.
And then I'm always
No, it's oh.
pleasantly surprised when I see it, and it's like, oh, okay,
No,
nice
the
color.
NES was leaps abound. Is the Atari? It was based on more ColecoVision stuff, but it's not Atari looking at all. It's the graphics are pretty nice, and the music's very good too. So at least even if you play it, and you don't like it, you still get a little bit of a good graphics and some nice music out of it. But it
How
was
does the
published by
D-pad
Nintendo.
work for the isometric aspect?
Okay, so when you basically hold right, you'll go at it like an angle, I believe. I can't remember because it's been a while since I played it, but I think it's kind of like angular. So if you hold right, I think you go up to the right. I could be misremembering that, so don't hold my pants to the fire, like you said. My snake to the fire.
Okay.
But I can't answer that 100%, Teddy, because the last time I played it was when I beat it, and that was a year ago. But I think it is.
That didn't interfere with your like grasp of the gameplay. Like was it like a mind fuck? Like, oh, I'm pressing right, but I'm going at like northeast angle.
If it does it, at first, yes,
Okay.
it does. Like a lot of games, you got to play it. Like the more you play it, you get better at it. If you like the game, like all games, you get better at it the more you do it. But it's a really good game, man. I think
a game where you're a snake and you eat balls.
Yeah, eat balls called nibbly pibblies, and you get It's a simple game. Eat, get bigger, go step on a scale, and go to the exit. But to get to the exit, you got to make all these jumps, avoid giant feet, and toilet seats that pop up from the ground, a shark in the water, icy obstacles, giant Igotkings that come up from the ground.
This is basically Spencer's Vacation. Boss battle with a giant foot.
Wow, I did not know your vacation must have been one hell of a vacation there, Spencer.
It was more of a staycation after that boss battle.
So, I don't know.
I love
you guys
nibbly.
have any other questions?
You said they're called nibbly pibblies. The things.
Yeah.
I always admire Rare for having so much self awareness that they're making a video game, and that's some of that rare British humor where it's like we do not care what these are called, so they're called nibbly pibblies.
Exactly. It doesn't take itself. It's a video game for people who play video games. It's just it knows what it is.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a video game. Dang it.
So what would this game be like if Solid Snake was the protagonist?
Well, there'd be an elevator stage where you got to go up the stage. Kind of is like an elevator, but there'd be guys running at you all the time. And they'd stop every 5 minutes and talk to you. Okay. And then you'd have, instead of weighing the scale, you'd have to oh man, it's been so long since I played Metal Gear Solid. I'm not the authority on Metal Gear Solid. I'll ask Spencer what would this game be.
Well, yeah, for one, every time you got to a new stage, you'd have to like shrink down and then somehow touch your codex, and then a codec, and then it'd go, Snake, to move left, to move northeast, you have to hit the left button on your directional pad.
That would be it. Yes, thank you. You put exactly what I was thinking. Would want to say.
You have to reset the game and read the manual or the back of the box.
Yeah.
All of that. Yeah.
Like, what is the black?
That was kind of cool though. I kind of like that, even though it was kind of BS. I kind of like that. Yeah, you read the back of the box. It says, "Eat the nibbly pibblies, Snake."
It says, "Eat my balls." Oh wow, yeah, I didn't even think of that. The balls.
The balls. The nibbly pibblies.
The balls.
That's the key.
Sometimes you may encounter nibbly pibblies that will run you a challenge.
Challenge? How so? Well, these ones fly, and you have to jump to get them. Jumping, huh?
Jumping.
Well, I can do that. Be careful, Snake. There's also huge, deadly blades that come up from the ground. Blades. Don't worry. I can get around them. I just like to razz on it. I don't think it's a bad game. It's just not one that I think on replays I'd like it more than I do now.
Okay.
I'm just to set the record straight.
And, uh,
Brian can't
Sir.
handle stealth games confirmed. Are we going to the next game?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right.
Mhm.
Oh, are you ready for me to go, or are you ready for you to go? I thought
I'm
you.
waiting for whoever's
I
next.
thought that was a dramatic segment for like rolling in your game.
Oh, okay. I can
Snake
go.
rattling and rolling your game. Go for it.
So he did one about a snake. There was once a wrestler named Jake the Snake Roberts, who is not in the game I'm about to talk about, but he is in the sequel to the game that I'm about to talk about. I played WWF Superstars on the Game Boy.
Wow.
Oh my god! Oh god! I can't wait to hear this one. As a wrestling fan.
Superstar Kirby.
You'd mentioned LJN. This is an LJN game.
And beat Johnson.
Lyndon Johnson Neville.
Lady Bird Johnson.
Ladybird. And it is a wrestling game where you, with only 5 superstars in it. I like that it's called Superstars to emphasize the lack of superstars. There is Kurt Hennig, aka Mr. Perfect. There is Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah, Macho Man.
The Macho Man.
Brother, the cream of the crop will rise to the top.
Yes,
On to
absolutely.
the Game Boy.
Game Boy.
Yeah, brother, get the Game Boy, brother.
All right, so that's 2. I'm trying to remember. There's Ted DiBiase, aka the $1 Million Man.
Ha 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 ha! Money, 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 money.
Everybody
Everyone's got a price.
Yeah.
Do.
There's Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, brother, the Hulkster's gonna come for you, and you're gonna see me at WrestleMania 3, brother.
And somehow this character is on top of Hulk Hogan, which is a stark reminder of the times, because this I believe came out in '91, so that'll put you in the right time frame. Hulk Hogan is not the number 1 star in this game. The number 1 star, of course, the Ultimate Warrior. There's not a great promo for him because all of his promos are him screaming about absolute nonsense.
He's insane. I can't do an Ultimate Warrior. I'd go crazy and drop dead because he's insane over the top. It's like he was on meth the whole time he was doing his promos or something.
Definitely. But the best one is undoubtedly where he talks about getting into a falling plane and like beating up the pilot and waiting for the plane to crash. Like it's out of it's like, how does this like result to you fighting Hulk Hogan? I don't understand. But it does somehow. But yeah, it's so there it is. It's a Game Boy game where you play as 5 different superstars and try to rise to the rank, which means 4 matches, to become the WWF champion. I played as Mr. Perfect because I couldn't figure out how to pick anybody else, but I do like Mr. Perfect anyway. And I got to the top, but I could not defeat the Ultimate Warrior. He was too powerful. But it's pretty impressive. It's mostly plays. I read about it. They said they built an engine specifically for it. I feel like the engine was specifically stolen from beat 'em ups at the time. It's pretty much like a straightforward up and down and left and right, and you can run and then do a drop kick, which is like the key that got me as far as I got. Which is also how I play beat 'em ups, is I run at people and then jump and then hit them.
I hear that.
So, but apparently you can also do moves, which are useless. But you can do moves. So A would be your grapple, B is your punch/kick, depending on if you're running or not.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. The graphics are pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean everyone looks
and,
like they've got their character, so it's cool.
Yeah, and you're right. Ultimate Warrior's front and center there in the title screen.
Yep. As far as options go, I'm used to N64 wrestling games, which I think are peak. WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy were my jam. This obviously is an early Game Boy game, or 91 Game Boy game, so I'm not even going to pretend to compare them. But for what it does, it tries for some things. I appreciate everything it tried to do, which is you're allowed to jump on the turnbuckle and jump off. I never once hit a move off there because it is so slow. And the character, dude, the game like trolls you because if you get on there, your opponent will literally stop moving, and then you'll jump to like hit him with something, and he'll just decide, I guess I'll move out of the way. Like you can't do anything about it. You're airborne. You take like 2 bits of health damage. It's such a joke. Don't even bother going to the turnbuckle. You can throw people outside of the ring, so there's a little bit of an out of the ring segment to it.
Oh, I just saw that. It's so dramatic. They like fly off. They're like, and then it skips to like the out of the ring. That looks kind of cool.
Oh yeah, Owen Hart would be spinning in his grave at the heights that you get thrown. And
oh god,
I went there. So when you're outside the ring, you can fight, and then you just roll back into the ring. There's not a whole lot to do, but you can get counted out, which that did happen to me. So I'm impressed by the things that they tried to do. The execution is probably as good as you can expect from a Game Boy, but it is very difficult to play or to even appreciate in today's time. I assume when this came out, it was kind of cool to see these characters, and they do look decent, compete in a ring. So that concept is cool. Playability wise, I don't really recommend it to anybody. There's a lot better options out there, and there's only 5 wrestlers in this game, so it's kind of difficult for me to be like, this is great. You have to like Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Ted DiBiase, or Kurt Hennig to want to play this. Which, granted, some of those names are freaking awesome. Some of those characters are cool.
Some of the best wrestlers,
but that's it
of that era. Yeah.
That's it.
Do they have their own special move? Does Mr. Perfect have like the perfect plex? Does
no
Hogan have the leg drop? Okay,
they each have like their own strikes. There's like tiny things they can do that are different, but otherwise everyone's got like a suplex, a scoop slam.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird to see Hulk Hogan doing a drop kick, but here we are. They didn't really have that much animation space, I guess. So everyone's doing the same.
That's kind of a disappointment.
Yeah.
This feel like a Rare game at all?
No. And that's one of the things I was talking about with the older Rare titles, like pre-Super Nintendo, and maybe even Super Nintendo. I don't really know what their career is on that, but I think of Donkey Kong Country, Super Nintendo. But pre it, they do a lot of like licensed games, which I found super interesting, because going forward, they're mostly known for their creativity. I mean, they did GoldenEye, but still, after that, they did Perfect Dark with that similar engine. So known for their creativity, and so it was weird to know that they also did all these licensed games, and I was just curious how they handled some of those. And mixed bag, I would say at best.
Yeah, they developed a lot of stuff for Nintendo. They were like one of the NES. They were one of their. They made a lot of stuff on the NES that you'd be surprised.
What's the music?
Oh, I think I had it on.
Composed by David Weiss.
That's
Banjo-Kazooie guy. You know?
We got to have that picture of him playing the saxophone that they always show whenever they show David Wise. You know, the one where he's bending over blowing the sax.
I had the music on for maybe 5 minutes before I turned it off. I'm sure purists will say it's wonderful. That's my opinion on the music. I don't know. It's Game Boy music to me. I don't know.
What did you learn?
Nobody beats
What was
the
your
Ultimate
takeaway?
Warrior. That's what I learned.
Okay.
When he
Did you already know that?
bends those ropes. Well, Teddy, there's a history there. Yeah, the Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan in a very dramatic match at WrestleMania.
Okay.
But in 1998, the Ultimate Warrior came to WCW where Hulk Hogan was and lost to him. So now it's like there's never a third match here. So
We need a sequel. That's what you're saying.
yeah, we need. Well, there is a sequel to this one, but we need a real sequel. Where you can
Rubber match.
Real sequel, yeah.
real one, yeah, absolutely. This game is okay. I don't recommend it, but maybe Terry will like it.
What a wrestling fan would probably like it more.
I'm a diehard wrestling fan, dude. You got to go play N64 wrestling games. They are the shit. I actually just played one recently at a Las Vegas bar that was like a big video game bar, and I had a freaking blast. I forgot just how great those games are
Wait, they had an N64 setup?
Dude,
to
they
play
had
the
they
part?
had like a PS1 there. They had an N64. They had Switches. They had PS4s. They had like an SNK thing going on. They had everything, dude. It was amazing.
Did they have which one did you play? And the only one I played was WCW NWO, I think was the only one I ever played.
No Mercy is the
Okay, I
pinnacle.
never. That was 2000. That was late N64, right?
Yeah, late
Yeah.
N64.
Okay, I never played that one. I used to be big into wrestling. I don't know if you still are or not, but
I'm big into that era of wrestling. I still watch
Mhm.
some things like pay-per-views when I get a
Yeah.
chance, but I'm not into the product.
yeah, I
on
kind
it.
of gave up on it around 99, 98, something like that.
You missed the best part.
I know that. Well, I caught the beginning of that with Stone Cold in the McMahon feud.
You just thought
That's when I stopped.
thought he was too crazy?
No, I liked it. It's just at that point I went away to school and I had other things on my mind.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for the history lesson. Zip.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm gonna throw this guy. I'm the Irish whip. My
That's good.
the turn over to Teddy to talk about his rare game.
Castlevania style. Irish whip.
Well, sure.
It's where
I like
Transylvania is,
Castlevania.
right?
I'll give you that one. Sure.
Ireland. Pennsylvania. Ireland.
Transylvania,
Close
Ireland.
enough. Close enough. Yeah.
Population
Close enough.
300.
It's near there. You know, what the heck?
Is that a Pokemon game? Population.
Oh yeah. What a useless stat to offer on your Wikipedia page. There are 40 people here.
Speaking of useless, I got a shanty for you guys. Rare treasures and riches vast from pirate legends in the past, shared voyages with faithful crew, called to sail the ocean blue. Lads, lassies, raise your mugs, drink, rarewares, sea of thieves.
Ching.
Matey.
I was supposed to talk about this with Alex, so he's here in spirit.
Yeah.
Wish I had an eye patch.
Wish you were
We
here.
we were gonna do the tag team thing where we both talk about the game kind of like you guys did for Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
So I'll just cover what I can. This was my first time playing it. It's on Game Pass. I think it's the perfect kind of platform for it. Not a game I would ever want to buy. In fact, it's loaded with microtransactions. But part of the beauty of it is like when you get Game Pass, you're getting Xbox Live Gold anyway, so you're basically, if you're getting the ultimate version, so you're playing games online. This is a game that actually takes good advantage of the online capabilities of Xbox Series S and One. We dicked around in it. I think that's pirate slang, dicking around.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
the ships.
they did a lot of dicking around, I think. Yeah.
That's not a lot of stuff to do on the ships and all. So, so we play with a couple of ships. We got a couple of quests. It's a game where you sail the big blue sea, although it's really not that big. It's smaller than Wind Waker, but it's got good looking water. It's kind of an open world sailing pirate game. We actually had some dude just appear from Xbox Live and just shoot us and send us to the netherworld. We had it's random, so like anybody could join your game technically at any time.
Mhm.
There's a variety of the quests that you can do. We mostly did plundering quests and bounty quests, and you get gold, and there's never really like a clear sense of purpose. There is a story mode, although like it did feel like maybe it wasn't like the most fleshed out point of the game. There's actually like a sail with Captain Jack Sparrow mode. I tried it out a little bit on my own. But I just couldn't figure out like where to go. The funny thing is and I kind of like this and I kind of don't. There are no directional compasses telling you go to this location. You kind of have to map out where you're supposed to go in terms of cartography. Like I have to look at a map, zoom out and find on my treasure map an identical looking island, mark a spot, and just because I mark that spot doesn't mean it even appears. So there is a kind of genuine exploration to it that I kind of like. There's some cool customization options. You can give your pirate, like you pick from like a cast of ugly looking swashbucklers and, whatever the female version of that is, if there is one. Bucklers. But
think it's a wench.
Hesitant to use wench in a sentence. Males. Or females. But you could give them like hair dye or like jackets and pirates hats. But then like there's the microtransaction thing. You can buy pets like through with like actual currency, and it's like, well, if I don't own this game, why am I going to do that? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I did play a little bit by myself today just to see what it was like. It's really hard navigating the ship because you're navigating a sailboat. You have to drop anchor. You need to drop the sail from the mast. There's really not much you need to do, but sometimes if you get hit at sea, let's say there's cannons, or you do drop the anchor right away, like as you're pulling up to an island, you'll hit rocks, or like when we were first starting off on the sailing, even the two of us, like just figuring everything out. You know, like one of us might be looking at the map and the other wasn't, and then suddenly we just crash into a freaking rock, and then like there'll be like holes in the bottom of the ship. One person's like, "Do you got wood? Oh, let's patch it up." And, like we didn't even know how to patch it up and stuff. There is kind of a thrill to it. It's like you do really fear for your life at sea. Something ironic. I played this after watching Titanic, and I felt like, oh my god, like I can't let the Titanic 2 happen in game. I know that earlier in this Game Talk episode that I was listening to you guys, or mostly Spencer, bash Sea of Thieves. I thought it was fun. I thought it was unique. Maybe the 20 minutes thing is true, but honestly, like I don't need a sense of like purpose in this kind of game. Is it very Rareware-esque? No, I don't feel like I get the Rareware humor. But I do think it's a really interesting experience for the console it's on, and I appreciate getting to play it, and I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I love what they were. I love the concept, and I had a lot of fun for what I did in that game. I was able to play it with 4 people, which is probably peak how you're supposed to play it. It seems, and you get like the big ship, and you go on a voyage to wherever on a map, and you do the thing, and it was fun. And we got there, and then we found the treasure chest or whatever it was. I can't remember. And then we got back, and it's like, so what now? And they're like, well, there's no like, do we move the story forward? I mean, not really. There isn't really one, really. And like, all right, did we grow? Like, did I gain a stat? And it's like, no. Dude, I don't know. I just think I understand why there isn't progression. It makes sense. But for me, I feel like it's just without any sort of progression or any moving forward, that game doesn't make any sense to me. And we immediately got bored and switched to something else. But so you don't find the need for progression in a game like that?
I almost think this is like, I don't know, is sandbox the right term? It's more like toy box. Like, I think this is just a toy box where you get to go on a ship and like dick around and see, like, honestly, I think the sailing in Wind Waker is a little bit more rewarding, but I do think it's like really well made for communicating. Like, yo, drop the mast, get on the crow's nest, look for stuff. Like me and Alex were really getting into it. So I didn't need anything too intricate. I would agree that like the intro level quests are pretty fucking basic. Like go dig up a chest on the beach and like, okay. But you can couple them up with like, if you kill like a skeleton captain, like while you're out there, you can like, take his skull and then bring it back. And you do level up in some ways, like for your different guilds that you're in. There's like a couple different factions you can build your progression in. I haven't seen how they fully develop, but I think a lot of that's because you have to get the basics for the game anyway. I did like just messing around in the game. Like at one point I hopped in the cannon and then Alex fired me from the cannon.
Yeah.
And we just got such a laugh out of that. I don't know. And then you can also like change like your, which kind of weapon you use. You use like the pistol or the blunderbuss. They have a sniper. So I don't know. I like the concept. I would have to, and the disclaimer here is I played a couple hours. I've not really like dug that deep into Sea of Thieves. But I've experienced it looks promising, but I could definitely see it running out of content.
You mentioned
running out of content.
SEA.
Sea of Content.
You mentioned there you got attacked and you took water and you had to get like boards to patch up. Do you have like do you have like a certain job? Like one person can man the sails and sail. Is that a way you could get more out of it? Like, okay, you do the sails, you do the cookery or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Alex
And,
and I were actually taking turns swapping, like who's gonna be at the helm,
Mhm.
like spinning the thing, and the other person be looking at the map. And sometimes we'd run over stuff anyway, and then be like, okay, well, we'll both get down there. And the funny thing is, like, you have an inventory of stuff. You have like a banjo. You can play a banjo. I have a banjo. But they also have like a bucket. So like once the water starts filling the basement, you can just start. One person gets the bucket, or you both kind of alternate and get like the water out of there. You could drop the anchor. The other person could like drop the anchor like while you're doing it. You could tell the person, you'll get ready. Okay, just tell me when I should stop. Tell me when I should drop. So there is a level of like important
Yeah.
communication there that you can use. The holes in the ship, they always end up in the same place, or places, but it's still like something you have to deal with. So
So it's a
yeah,
communication.
you could definitely assign roles in the ways that work best for you and the people you're playing with. Is when you're playing it by yourself on like the small ship, it's just like such a burden, like doing everything. I couldn't have perfected
Okay.
it, but
So that's with the single
it
player.
is a way to play it as a single player, but I don't think that's the best way to really experience it. I would really play this like with somebody else. Like I activated Game Pass just so we could play this. Say like I was like, my God, we have to play Sea of Thieves or anything. But if there's a game that justifies like the service, I think it would be. This is an example of one that does that.
What's the combat like? You said there's skeletons that show up. I'm assuming you fight the skeletons.
Swords and guns, and there's also cannons on your ship. So like if there's like, I didn't really have any combat at sea. The only time I got shot at was when I was playing by myself. I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. But usually if you like land on like a little treasure island, there'll be like a bunch of skeletons and skeleton captains like attacking you, and so some of them takes like it's usually like 2 hits with the sword. The captains take a bit more, even if you shoot like all 5 shots of your pistol and then hit them with your sword. It takes a while to get them down, but when you're playing with somebody else, it's a little easier. But that's only really my intro level combat. I haven't seen anything deeper. You know, I haven't gone more than like 4 hours into the game, so. But even so, for 4 hours into the game and all I saw is skeletons, like that is something. But the experience is, I think the experience is really the sailing. I don't think it's the combat. The combat's just like an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah,
sounds
it's-
like a game where if you this sounds like a game where if you were maybe 14 and you had a bunch of friends playing it together and you were really into like pirate stuff, I think you'd have a blast with this game.
I lower
that
that. I
safe
say
to
like
say?
12.
12?
No, I think it looks like a Pixar-esque movie, or like
Mhm.
the characters kind of have that like chunky fit, like look to it. I don't know. Or on the flip side, like I'm 30 and I like this game, so
Mhm.
you know,
I was just saying
12
more
or, 12 or
towards
30,
the,
take your pick. Just don't combine them.
like when I was
That'd
playing,
be weird.
yeah, well, 30, yeah, 42. And so, I
It's a
was just
literal
saying,
combination, yes.
yeah.
That's halfway to how old you
well.
are.
Oh, Jesus, man, I'm getting burned. Nice one. Nice one. As I cry into my pillow. No, it's fine. I'm old. Haha. But it's like,
12.
it's like I was saying more towards like, well, sometimes I feel like I'm 12, but it's like when I was playing multiplayer, I was more 13 or 14 or 15, something like that. And I think if I had that as a kid, I think I would have got more out of it. Because I never played the game, but I think maybe if I had friends to play with it growing up, I think we would have had a blast with it. Maybe you need more people. Like you played with Alex and 3 other people, right? So you had 4 people.
I think 2's a sweet spot. I think 4 might be too many. I think just if you have 4, it's like I don't know what I mean. You'd really have to be getting into some combat at sea. Like I feel like you'd have to be taking down like enemy ships like on your side, and then you could have multiple people on the cannons, one on the map, one on the helm, you know, like and one on the crow's nest, looking to see if there's stuff you could do. But I don't know that, and maybe Spencer could speak to this, if it delivers in a 4-person experience in the same way that like really did for 2-person.
Yeah, I think it's better with 4, but I mean, therein lies the problem: is you gotta have 4 people that want to sit for 4 hours and boat.
Did you feel your
Yeah.
voting justified having 4 people, or would it have been like the same with 2?
No, 4
Or
was
like-
it was good with 4 because kind of like what Brian was alluding to. But did you go on like the biggest boat, the huge one?
We started with that one, and then we worked our way down to the skiff.
Yeah, on the big one, it's nice to have somebody, like each person have their own job. When you go in there, one person's turning the wheel, one person's on the crow's nest. Some people are doing the masts, and then I think there's one more. But we usually had one of the people that we play with. All he does is fuck around. So that was basically what he was doing.
Can you throw that? Is there a jail where you can put the people who don't
But they'll just kill
cooperate?
you, and then anarchy.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I found that like at the helm, like I was able to do the mast and anchoring duties pretty easily. Although on the big ship, the anchor is in the middle of the boat and the wheels up top, so like there is the scrambling element. It's a little easier on the skiff.
Right.
What's the skiff? I don't know my sailing. What's a skiff?
So the skiff is the smallest one. It's like a 1 to 2 person boat. I may or may not be using the right word. The biggest boat is a 4-person boat. Although you could use, I think, like 2 to 4. And then there's
Just
a
small
mid-sized boat.
Okay, gotcha.
You pick it before you start your adventure anytime. Anytime.
Well, Teddy, if you guys are down to keep playing, I will totally jump on with you guys.
Ha! Consider it accepted.
I'd do it, but
Consider yourself invited.
Yes.
This is a game I'd like
Consider
to try out,
RPG Archives invitation.
It's often rare that you get an invitation with this much
Brian,
explosion behind it
I thought you were
from
gonna.
cannons.
I thought you were gonna take a shot at me. I took a shot at you. Now you take a shot back.
Your mic cover is really blue.
Oh my God! You're supposed to say, "I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you." Hey, loser! It's pretty rare that you get invited to a party, huh? That's what you're supposed to say.
Oh,
Good one,
okay.
Brian.
Try it.
Really
Go
caught
ahead.
him.
Okay, let me try.
Say it with your
Repeat what he
chest.
said.
Come on.
It's rare that you ever.
Oh my God! This
Talk next to somebody.
Jesus. Nicest guy on YouTube. Always have been.
Oh, thank you.
Consider that compliment.
I do. I've learned to take compliments better in my age. It's my my dotage.
In my old age, I'm reveling in all of my glory, of my niceness. I really was a nice guy, wasn't I?
I used to be. Oh, yes.
We're gonna be a couple old ass mappers before you know it.
Old ass mappers. That could be the next show. Old ass mappers.
I mean, that's our current show.
Wait. Old ass mappers or old ass mappers?
Oh, there's a difference. You got to make sure
It's
you
not
put
a
that
difference.
comma. Yeah.
Depends on where you put the delay.
Where you put that punctuation is key.
Okay.
So
Mapping the ass. That is the Xbox series best. Or Rareware games. I don't know. What's the joke?
Oh, speaking of ass, a game that's developed by Rare is Taboo: The Sixth Sense. That game is terrible.
Believe you.
When was that made?
1988.
They were all shit back then.
I'm gonna ignore that.
Come on, dude.
89. I was 1 year off. It's basically just a set of tarot cards. So you could pay.
But we play
$40.
Persona, so like there's some connection.
Oh no, Persona is a game. This is not a game. This is like buying. You could buy a pack of tarot cards and do the same thing as this game. It's like a tarot card simulator.
I like potatoes, so I think tarot cards would be like if you
Tarot
got,
cards.
like, cards about potatoes.
Potato cards.
Yeah, the market for
Potato.
that.
Yeah,
Like a potato on each card.
like Pringles, but they put little data on it.
But they should draw pictures on Pringles. That'd be kind of cool.
Days +1 obesity.
That should be the given.
Utz, Lay's,
Ruffles
Ruffles.
+2 cavity.
plus 3 sour cream.
Him with that sour cream and onion. Oh my god.
So it's just what it is.
Salt and vinegar. Barbecue. Now I'm just talking shit.
My
so
favorite
shit.
chip is the barbecue, and you dip it in sour cream and onion. That is.
Ooh,
I always have
living
to
dangerously.
avoid that shit because I will eat the whole thing.
It's like Nutella.
It's not.
No, I mean to me. I gotta avoid Nutella. I don't mean literally.
Barbecue
like
and
Nutella.
sour cream is not
No.
like Nutella bread.
Never mind. I'm not gonna explain myself.
Reminds me of Nutella.
When I had my Metamucil, I used to eat Nutella with barbecue.
Makes the
Dude, I used to
Nutella
pack
go down.
lunches. I had a pack of Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos. God, Teddy Grahams is more like it. Dunkaroos. Get your Dunkaroos out of here.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad I got to talk about Snake Rattle and Roll. I do like that game a lot.
Out of curiosity, before we did the show, you said you had 3 games. What were the other 2?
Oh, sure. Real quick. Game I had growing up, RC Pro-Am, which Teddy mentioned. Fun game, terrible at it. I'm not really like racing games. I only played like 2 in my life, really. F-Zero on Super Nintendo and this one. This one's fun. It's like Mario Kart with RC cars, isometric. And one I never played growing up, but I beat just this past month is Wizards and Warriors. Easy NES game I recommend. It's not hard. Unlimited continues. You start off right where you died. It's very explorative. There's different items you can get or miss, and it doesn't affect the outcome. Great music. I think David Wise did the music for this. There's 2 other sequels. The second one I played growing up and kind of put me off wanting to try this one for a long time. The second one has Fabio on the front, and it's a lot harder because they limit your continues. So I recommend this one. I think it's the best of the 2 I played because it's pretty easy. So if you want a cool time with an NES game, give it a shot. Wizards and Warriors.
What's next on the streaming schedule?
I'm playing new Super Mario Brothers games right now, so I'm almost done with New Super Mario Brothers U, and then I don't know after that. I might do New Super Luigi U, or do another Mario game. I kind of want to play Galaxy again. I haven't played those in a while. Or 64 I haven't played since I was 16. So I'm kind of curious to go back to that and give that another shot and see what I think about it.
16 or 64? Or 16 going on?
64. I should play Super Mario 64 on my 64th birthday. That would be pretty good.
Well,
It's
it's
just the
already
best NES Mario game, as the NES guru.
Super Mario Brothers 2. Hands down.
Oh,
No
I
contest.
disagree.
Wait a minute. Wait. Super Mario Brothers 2?
Yeah. Hands
Doki
down.
Doki Panic.
The best
Hey.
NES Mario Brothers game. The most creative, original, fun, best music.
Okay, you're trolling now.
Yeah.
You're trolling.
No, it's my favorite. It's my favorite Mario game.
Did you just say the most original Mario game?
No, he said best Mario game.
You said original.
Most creative. Yeah.
You said
Oh, original. Yeah.
you said most original, most creative. Let the tapes play back that you said Mario 2 is the most original, most creative.
Yes, compared to
It's the most
other,
original.
the
It
other
stole
Mario
everything from Doki Doki Panic, you know? That's original.
Yes, everybody knows that, but it's still a good game. It's still great. You asked me what the best Mario game was. I gave you my answer.
And you answered
Super Mario
wrong.
In your opinion, I think it's the best Mario game on the NES.
I'll have you know if Alex was here, he would be even more angry than I am.
Well, Alex has bad opinions too. That's
Oh!
fine.
Well, I think you're right.
Thank you for
But
having me.
You're not the only one. Many people are wrong about it. I don't know why.
Lots of people are wrong about everything. I enjoy being wrong.
We gave you a space to do it. So, thank you, Brian.
Thank you for having me
Okay.
very much.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're welcome very much.
Little you and stuff. No, I'm joking.
It's been a rare occurrence of a great, rare essence. That made no sense. Wind that back. It's been a rare occurrence. I hope it's not a rare occurrence that I don't see you again. That I see you. You know what I'm saying.
Hope you like your steak medium.
Rare.
Bye!
Are we done?
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.